Second World War comparisons are more accurate than the Gaza conflict to describe the Tehran regime's crackdown on protesters, writes Jake Wallis Simons. Follow this page for more updates on international news. Jake Wallis Simons. It's not war than Iran. It's mass murder on a scale close to Babyn Yar. Tehran's violent crackdown on protesters is a massacre comparable with the 1941 holocaust of bullets. Nobody knows how many innocent people have been massacred in Iran. And when it comes to the war between Israel and Hamas, the casualty data is hotly contested. It seems likely, however, that the Islamic regime has already killed more innocents than lost their lives in Gaza, or at the very least is poised to overtake that number. Not that the two are comparable. The Palestinian casualties were the tragic and undesired result of urban warfare against an enemy that both provoked the fight and saw every death as a propaganda victory. Evacuation notices were issued, aid was provided, and missions were aborted to protect civilian life. The Iranian regime, by contrast, is wantonly butchering great numbers of unarmed citizens who only want to be free. The victims are particularly fresh in my mind as this week Andrew Fox, the former parachute regiment officer, and I interviewed two Iranian activists for our podcast, The Brink. These were people who had received credible reports from the inside, and their stories were harrowing. Dead women having their uteruses removed before their bodies were returned to their families for a hefty release fee to hide evidence of sexual torture. Prisoners being injected with mercury or potassium to cause them to perish slowly and in great pain. Toddlers and the elderly shot dead. Summary executions of the wounded in their hospital beds. During the war in Gaza, much debate surrounded the combatant-to-civilian casualty ratio. According to the United Nations, civilians account for nearly 90% of wartime casualties in urban theaters around the world. During the conflict with Hamas, by contrast, between 2 and 3 civilians lost their lives for each combatant. According to the Israel Defense Forces, with some analysts placing that figure closer to 1 to 1.5, or even 1 to 1. The truth will probably never be known. After all, decades after the war in Iraq, civilian casualty estimates range between 186,000 and 1 million. But my point is this: in Iran, the combatant-to-civilian casualty ratio is meaningless because there are no combatants, only civilians. It's not war, it's mass murder, on a scale close to Babyn Yar. Which brings us to the heart of the matter. Whereas the broadcast media put on wall-to-wall coverage of the Gaza war for 2 years, they have shown only a cursory interest in the depravity in Iran. This week, on the day that Time magazine reported,